Okay, I think I'm live. Let me just double check. Make sure. Okay. Alright. Looks good. So, what are we doing today, Pinky? The same thing we try to do every day, brain. Try to take over the world. I think I got that one a little backwards, but you know, spirit that counts. In any event, welcome to my Pathfinder Wrath of the Righteous prologue review. Probably should have put discussion there, as that's probably a bit better of a term, but whatever. It's all good. We're here. Basically, we're just going to be talking about, this is going to be a light summary of events that happen on my live stream playthrough that you can find on this same channel. There's a playlist with all of the videos in order. And this is just the prologue. I'm not going to be doing one massive, super long video or presentation for like each act. I'm probably going to break it up into chunks as I see fit. When a bunch of things has happened, maybe I'll do another one of these wrap-up things, and we'll talk about everything that's happened so far. So that said, let's just get into it. Next slide, baby. Hit that button. So what are we going to cover? As I said, we're just going to provide a kind of a light summary of events in terms of the overarching plot. Nothing too nitty-gritty or specific. And then after we're done with that, we're going to talk about the shield maze. Is it good? What are my thoughts on the shield maze? What are your thoughts on the shield maze? And all that. Then we're going to talk about every single NPC that we've met so far. Because I like to keep track of those things. I think that's kind of fun. And then we can give some of our concluding thoughts on the prologue. So we're not going to be delving super deep into any specific things here, unless I just really feel like talking about it in the moment. I just really felt like, you know, kind of talking generally about everything so far. Next. So, the prologue opens with us waking up in Canabras with this beautiful celebration going on. And the first thing you see upon waking up is the motherfucking prelate. Isn't that just beautiful? That's such a great way to start your life, your new life as a crusader. You wake up and you see Prelate Horan leaning over you. And so he tries to heal you with some super long-winded prayer that he probably doesn't need to say all the words for, but he does anyways. And then he's, you know, a failure, as he is in all things. And he goes and gets Terendelev, and Terendelev comes over and she heals you. And then you're up and at him, and they kind of just let you explore the festival for some reason. I don't know why they don't check on you a bit more. That seems like something they should do. But they're perfectly content to just be like, this guy, we just healed him. Let him roam free. Yeah, sure. So we've got this whole festival to explore. So why don't we talk a bit about that? I really like this opening festival scene. There's a lot of characters here that we're going to meet later in the game. And that, you know, will become very important, or just a bunch of minor characters that are hanging around. Some of the more important characters are Camellia, Daeron, Social, Ember, Sela, but of course there's also Prelate Horan, Terendelev, and there's more, and we'll talk about all of those people when we get to the character summaries. And there's like a few interactable things here at the festival. Like, I think, yeah, there's like 3 things you can interact with. There's like dummies you can punch, knives you can throw, and drinks you can drink. Yes, sir. After you do 2 of those things, Discari comes down and kind of wrecks your shit. But we'll get to that in a moment. I kind of wanted to talk about the interactable stuff. I am interested to know if the interactable stuff, if the results of it are influenced by your character's stats. Like, for example, when you're throwing knives at the knife board or whatever, I guess. Like, if you have a higher dexterity, do you do better? Will people comment like, hey, you suck real bad? What a terrible throw. I could throw better than that. If you, like, miss, or if you have a low dexterity. I don't know if it's actually a check or if it's just a neat little cutscene. I'm pretty sure that at that point, there's a pop-up for ability checks, and it tells you what ability checks are. So it would make sense that those things, those, like, little interactables, you know, kind of, there's a little bit of reactivity there, but I'm not sure if there really is. So, in any event, with that all out of the way, Discari comes down in one of my favorite parts of the whole game. I think he comes down in this, like, super cool cutscene, and his voice is just incredible. They did an excellent job picking that voice actor, and whoever mixed the audio and applied the audio effects, they knew their shit. What a professional. It's almost like it was their job. Because his voice is just chef's kiss beautiful. He comes down and he says, "Iomade, you poor imposter," or whatever. "Look at the ants I'm about to crush with my big stick." Turindalev is like, "You're not gonna, don't tread on me. You're not gonna fuck up my city. You come in my fucking part of town, I'll beat you up." And so Turindalev turns into a big old dragon, immediately gets stabbed by Discari and beheaded in one fell swoop of Riftcarver, his massive scythe. And it's just a beautiful, epic cutscene. And in the confusion, Suture runs up to you. Oh, pretend I didn't say that. A, like, guard comes up to you and is like, "What's up, pal? You want to get the fuck out of here, or do you want to shoot this demon?" And, whatever. We decide to shoot the demon with the crossbow. And, we were a mortal gnat trying to snap our jaws at the Lord of Locusts, and it didn't go very well for us. Because, he kind of rift carved, and we fell into the rift upon which he carved. Very unfortunate for us. So we fall down. This cutscene, as far as I'm aware, there's like a few moments in the game where, like, the camera might move a little bit. There's one instance I can think of that, like, the camera actually kind of comes down and faces something and then kind of goes back up to where it usually is, kind of that, isometric perspective. But for the most part, the game is always isometric, and that's kind of a shame. I wish there were more scenes where the camera was a bit more dynamic, like the scene with Discari, because I think the character models in this game are definitely good enough to kind of have, like, a bit more of a close-up look on them. But that's a whole thing. I could talk a little more about that in different scenes that I would like to have more camera stuff going on in them, but that'd be all spoilery, and we're on the prologue. I already spoiled a little bit of something, but you wouldn't even know what that means at this point. If you haven't played the game before, but if you don't know the story, I don't know how you've delved this deep in the internet to find this video about this video game. Frankly, I'm kind of impressed that you're here. In any event, let's move on. We're going to talk about Riftcarver. I barely know her. So Discari, yeah, I just talked about all this. I should have changed the slide a bit earlier. But after shooting Discari with the crossbow given to us by the Halfling Guard, we are plunged into the caves beneath Canabras, where we are introduced properly to Sela, Anevia, Camellia, Lan, and Wenduag. And we'll talk about all these characters a bit later. But we can talk a bit about Lan and Wenduag right now, because as we're making our way through the caves with our new friends in tow, new best friends, we find the mongrels, Lan and Wenduag, who are searching for some kind of, like, magic sword, and then we find it in some rubble that wasn't very hard to find, to be honest with you, and then we pick it up, absorb it, I guess, and then we kind of trip mad balls, and we get, like, a vision as though we have an Oculus Rift on or something, of the Vision L'Ariel, I don't know, but it's kind of like an interactable little cutscene book thing that frankly I don't remember very well. I think L'Ariel like is he's screaming at some people for something. Then he like vows to destroy or not destroy evil. He vows to like destroy evil. Someone will come and pick up the sword and either fight and destroy evil or will like protect the innocent or whatever. And it's kind of your choice as to what he says there. I don't actually no. I do know a little bit about what that like impacts. I think if you're further down the line going for the angel mythic path, I think that has more of an effect, depending on if you say like, you know, kill evildoers or protect the innocent. I think you kind of get one of two like angel subpaths. I'm dropping shit on the floor just because I like to do that because I'm just fucking crazy. So that's a little cool, I guess. I don't know. I don't really understand what's going on in that scene particularly well, even from a meta narrative kind of sense, or just like an overall narrative sense. I don't really know where that scene is coming from. I don't know why that specifically happens to us. I'm trying to think. No, I really don't know why that scene happens. But it happens, and it's kind of neat, I guess. And then L'Ariel gets... I'm pretty sure he gets, like, beat up by Discari or some Discari-like thing. Ooh, what a mystery. Next slide. So then we meet the Futurama mutant people, where Lan and Wenduag, this beautiful, beautiful man and this beautiful, beautiful woman, they kind of lead us to their chieftain's soul. And it's there we decide to side with Wenduag and not display the light of heaven to the mongrels. The light of heaven being that sword that we found in the rubble. We can like show it, summon it at any point, and it's like kind of neat, I guess. It's pretty cool. That's neat. So we decide to side with Wenduag. Lan's not very pleased about that, and he baby rages. He baby rages about us not showing the light of heaven to the mongrels. While Wenduag is very pleased that we sided with her. She also kind of, before we make it to the tribe, Wenduag pulls us aside, and she asks us to not show the light of heaven to the mongrel chief, because it's gonna inspire all the mongrels to go like do something and surge into the shield maze where like the exit is or whatever. I think like mongrel children have gone missing or something in the shield maze or something like that. And displaying the light of heaven would have rallied up all the mongrels, and Wenduag tells us that the mongrels would be surging into their death were they to go into the shield maze because they're all like old and competent or whatever. So whatever, Wenduag, after we take a big fat nap in a tent and level up, Wenduag leads us to the shield maze where we kill a bunch of people. It's really a slaughter. And we discover that a cult of the demon Savamelik has moved in and, shocker, has been turning the mongrels into mindless fighters. Through some kind of like cannibalization ritual or whatever. And Wenduag makes a comment at some point after... I need the next slide. Also, the Futurama mutant people, if you're wondering why Lan is on his side, it's because I wanted to fit him in the slide, but I didn't really know how to do that. I could have like just made the picture smaller, but him on his side... endless comedy here. I'm pretty low energy at the moment. I'm a little tired. It's kind of awkward to just sit in a room by yourself and talk at a slide. But I'm really doing my best here, you know. thought about scripting the video out a little more, but honestly, I think if I just script it out, I'm just not gonna do it. If I like write a whole script and then I have to like edit fucking I have to like edit footage or whatever, then it would just be too much work and I just wouldn't do it. So it's either this or nothing, to be honest with you. And whatever, next slide. Good lord, man, get to the point. All right, so that's about it for the overarching plot. I mean, not much happens too much. Whoa, form a sentence. Maybe I should script it out. Good lord. So after defeating Hasilla, which is the leader of this like cult of the demons Salvamelech, we discover the exit to the maze, which leads us up into the Grey Garrison. And I thought that there was more. Like, I thought that, you go up into the Grey Garrison and then the prologue continues until a certain event happens. But no, it kind of just ends there as you walk up stairs. You walk up a flight of stairs, and then, like, the prologue ends. So there's that. What's next? I think we're talking about the shield maze, if I remember the next slide properly. Holy shit, it's been 60 minutes. How do I talk for so long about absolutely nothing and get to absolutely no points? So, my thoughts on the shield maze. Man, I'm very conflicted. I'm very conflicted about the shield maze. Because the shield maze is like, I don't think it's the best dungeon to introduce new people to the game. This is the first dungeon in the entire game, and I don't think, at least the way it's structured, is well done. Because I spoke about this in my Trickster playthrough summary thoughts. But I have a friend who, this is his first CRPG. This was my real first CRPG. And the shield maze was just completely confusing to him. And he just had no idea where to go at any point. You kind of enter through this area, and then you kind of turn off, and you kind of go down here, but you don't really need to go down here, but you do have to go down here because you need to get like a note from a specific person, the Hand of Hasilla. You need to kill that person and then read that note. You need to right click and then click info to read the full note to find out that right here there is a like right here there's like a torch. There's like a hidden torch, and if you pull on the torch, you get to this hidden area. And then down here, I think there's another Hand of Hasilla, and I think that Hand of Hasilla has the key to enter into the ending here. But like, there's also more to explore. So like, you go over here, and then you come over here, and there's the fucking button puzzle that like I never would have figured out. If you don't know what the button puzzle is a series of like, I think red, blue, yellow, green buttons that you need to hit in the proper order, and it'll open up this hidden little room to the sword Radiance, which is like a pretty epic, cool Pogger's longsword that gets stronger throughout the game, which is pretty neat. But the solution to the button puzzle is like, I think it's in one of these rooms. I think it's this room right here. I'm trying real hard to remember. No, it's in this room right here. On this side of the wall, there are paintings. There's 4 paintings, and the order of the paintings, they're like different colors, and like the different colors of the paintings correspond to the different order in which you need to hit the buttons. And I never would have figured that out. I had to look it up. Frankly, I don't know how anyone figured that out. I don't think that's a slight on Owlcat. I think that's really cool that they include that, like, hidden little puzzles for people that, people who can figure that stuff out, who aren't me. Like, I'm still new to CRPGs and having to actually think about the games that I'm playing. But it's pretty cool. I like that. I don't like how confusing it is to get the fuck out of this dungeon, because this is the most confusing dungeon in the entire game, aside from like, well, I guess one could argue that the entirety of Act 4 is a dungeon, but there's like 2 dungeons I can think of that might be to this level. Never mind. This isn't the most confusing dungeon in the game. There's definitely one more way more confusing dungeon. But you already have to solve a bunch of obtuse shit to get to that. And like at that point, you're in for it. In terms of difficulty navigating, this dungeon gave me the most difficulty to navigate out of the entire game, aside from the one dungeon that's designed specifically to confuse the fuck out of you and make you look up a guide on how to solve it. So there is a great little moment with Wenduag and Lan throughout the shield maze. Like, it's in this room right here with the paintings. Once you enter, when you first enter the shield maze, you're just like killing cultists or whatever. But when you get to this room, this like dining banquet room or something like that, you kill some corrupted mongrels. After killing the corrupted mongrels, Lan and Wenduag will each have different dialogue depending on which one you took with you. Lan will comment sentimentally like his name was Hovland or whatever, and like he recognizes the corrupted mongrels that you've slain. And it's a very like emotional moment for him. Wenduag, however, is like, I don't know who the fuck those people are, and I don't care. They're weaklings. I killed the shit out of them. Let's keep moving. It doesn't matter. And you also find out that Wenduag, she's been here before. She knew this place was inhabited, and she just kind of didn't tell you. So you also learn that Wenduag's a bit duplicitous. Yeah, so that word. Just look it up. So, my little camera's covering that up, but I'll read it for you. So the water elemental fight was busted. Nah, I just need to get better. The water elemental fight isn't really that bad. It's an optional fight that you don't have to do. I think this is like the first, when you walk up to the room that the water elemental was in, I think if I recall correctly, it is this room right here. Once you walk up to this room, you get a pop-up, and the game tells you, hey, there's a lot of optional fights in this game that you just don't have to do against very tough enemies. And so, like, this is the first tough optional fight. I had to reload like 5 or 6. I think it was 3 or 4 times I had to reload against the water elemental on this playthrough because the dice just kind of screwed me. That holds true for pretty much the entire game. Your dice can always just kind of screw you. But early in the game, you just have less tools at your disposal for preparing for fights and dealing with different things in fights. So once things start going wrong and like one character rolls doesn't land a hit or gets hit, that's all it takes and the fight's over. You've won or lost, So that caused me to reload a few times. Also, I'm just not very good at the game. So that's another reason that I had to reload a few times against the water elemental. We're on slide 7 out of 10. Come on, baby. We're almost there. I'm getting tired. Oh, fuck. I forgot I had the list of every single character that we met. Okay, so we're going to talk about every single character that we've met in the prologue. And we're going to keep doing this throughout the playthrough. We're going to keep tabs on characters as they pop up. We're not going to talk about every single character every single time we do one of these reviews or discussions. We're going to do them as they appear. But given this is the prologue and we're meeting a lot of new people, we got a lot of new people to talk about. So we meet a lot of fun new people in the square. There's Sela, Kroll, and Jasnau Dori getting their drink on in the square. Camellia is being snobbish to the peasants. If you talk to her in the square, she says something about like how the peasants are so lame or whatever. Ember is just hanging out on the floor, begging for money, being all poor and hungry. Darren is not white boy wasted, and he is complaining about like how lame this festival is compared to his epic parties. Social's just kind of hanging out. Horgus Gworm is being rich and tells you to go away if you go and talk to him in the square because he can't be seen with the likes of ... you. Terendelev is just kind of hanging out because she saved her lives, and she doesn't really, owe us much of anything anymore. Prelate Holrun calls us sussy wussy at the square. If you talk to him, he says a strange wound or something like that. There's Ramian, a priest of Desna, who's hanging out, just like being all Desnan and shit. Praise Desna. And there's a stranger with a mask who's being all weird, mysterious, says something like, I don't know, mystery solve, answer to a riddle is nothing, answer riddle. I don't know what he says specifically verbatim, but it's something along those lines. And then there's some guy named Eravashniel who is waiting around to fall in the rift, eat shit, and die. And we'll talk about him soon, more in detail. So we're not done. We got more people to meet. We got Spooky Cave people, Wenduag, who's definitely a well-adjusted person, Lan, who's actually a well-adjusted person, Sol, who's old and fat, and that's kind of all there is to him. Then there's the insane people who live in the Oh, wait, I forgot to mention Dira. I think that's how you spell her name. I don't know. I just kind of did all this off memory. If I miss someone in the square, my apologies. Please say something, and then I'll talk about them next time I do this, I guess. Then there's Dyra, the Mongol trader, who wants to trade how the Uplanders do, and she's very excited to meet some Uplanders and get some Uplander coin. And there's also a bunch of crazy people that live in the shield maze, like Husilla, who we kill the shit out of, and Salvamelik, who's just evil and a demon. Cool. Okay, so, next slide. We've talked about everyone. So, companion time. Let's talk about all the different companions in the game that we have so far. So, Sela is a paladin of Iomedae, and we discover, when we find the sword Radiance, that Yaniel is one of her heroes. And she's very excited to find the sword of Radiance. Sela is just kind of a helpful girl. There's not much to say about these characters at the moment, which is why we're keeping these descriptions brief. In future videos, we'll certainly have more to talk about as they do more things and say more and we learn more about them. But at the moment, there's just not much to say about them. Camellia is just a nice, respectable, helpful, is she not, upper-class woman who unfortunately has been caught up in all this mess with demons and shit. Wenduag is a spider lady who we trusted in the caves, and she's obsessed with power and will do pretty much anything for you. She's also crazy. She has eaten people. She has committed cannibalism, but doesn't, we've all got our faults, so let he who is without sin cast the first stone. That's what I say. That's a direct quote from me. That's a K original right there. And Lan, we didn't learn too much about Lan. He's kind of a cool guy, but we told him to eat shit and fuck off because Wenduag is more entertaining to have around later in the game. And it's also just more entertaining for now. Plus, I really like her quest line that we will be doing throughout the game. She has a romance line that is pretty good. And it's very engaging, in my opinion. Oh, okay. Fucking get this shit done. So, overall, Prologue, I think, is a very good introduction to the game. Borat really likes Prologue. This guy likes the Prologue. I just looked up like thumbs up, and this like Microsoft PowerPoint clip art man, he was something that came up. This is like the ideal man right here. What incredible proportions. Guy's got a big mouth. You know what they say about big mouths, right? Big tongues. What's up with that? And he's like looking off into space. This guy doesn't look all there. I'm a bit concerned for him. I can't think of a way to segue that into something actually pertinent. So the game confronts you with your first big decision in a really good way. Trusting Lan or Wenduag. And even this early on, the game is showing you your decisions are going to have rippling effects throughout the game world, depending on who you trust and who you want to take with you. And I think that that's really cool, and I really like that they do that so early. And that's something that they keep throughout the game is, for the most part, a decent amount, a lot of reactivity to your decisions, and all of them being very impactful. I think this shield maze, when I wrote this, I thought it was a pretty good dungeon experience. Ask me tomorrow, my opinion on it will change. That's true. I'm very conflicted about the shield maze, because I think it's a good introduction to the game, but I also think it's not, because I think a lot of people are going to get stuck at it and then just not continue the game because they're like, I don't know how the fuck to get out of this stupid shield maze. I'm going to refund this game on Steam. But then again, most people are also probably going to die to like giant spiders for half an hour. And then spend an hour in character creation, like completely overwhelmed or whatever. Not that I blame them. I mean, it's pretty easy to get overwhelmed with the vast amount of options available in this game. I can't speak for everyone, but after I played the prologue for the first time, I was hooked. I just had to keep playing. I couldn't stop. I know a lot of people get restart-itis for this game, where it's like, you know, I got to make a new character, make a new build or whatever, and keep trying different things to keep going in the game. And I kind of felt that a little bit, where, you know, I want to play different classes and see the different things that they can do and how, you know, they can kill things in different ways. And that's pretty cool. But I didn't want to keep starting over and over and over, because I really wanted to continue and play the game and continue to see the story and how it develops. So that concludes my discussion of the prologue. I kind of thought I'd have more to say going into this. Sip it. Man, I tell you, the second I sit down and like start doing this shit, fucking all the thoughts just leave my head. No thoughts head empty. Which is a real bummer. Because like when I'm writing this shit up, it's like fire. I'm so excited, ramped up to like do this. But I can't maintain that high energy, you know, as I'm giving this presentation and talking to no one. It's kind of rough, but, you know, it is what it is. It's all good. So, as I said, that concludes my thoughts on the prologue. If you have more to say and would like to talk about it, please leave something in the comments, and I can respond to them. I'll probably respond to them in text, but then, you know, I may respond to them at the end of the next discussion video when we talk about Act 1, which I don't know when that will be. I don't know when I'm going to make that discussion video, but we'll get there. Maybe. I don't know. I could die and just never do that, or I could just be like, this is fucking lame. I don't want to do these discussion videos anymore, and I just want to play the game. And then I could just stop doing discussion videos and just focus on playing the game. I don't know. We'll see. Whew. Thanks so much for watching, or not watching, or falling asleep, I guess. And I'll see you later. Bye.